This video brought to you by Forex Internals.
Hi, and welcome to the FX Internals Trader Helper demonstration video, where today we'll be talking about the Open Positions tab. The Open Positions tab is where you can see all currently open trades and the various take profit, stop loss, and profit on the trade. It is very similar to the MetaTrader 4 trade tab. However, there are some improvements and differences that I'd like to discuss with you today. So we'll just minimize that. As you can see, we have a number of open trades in our account right now. They're listed by ticket, sorted, descending. We'll just walk you through what you can see here. You've got the ticket number, the symbol, and the type of trade. So in this case, it's a dollar-yen sell. The size of the trade is under lots. Entry is the entry price. Current is the either current bid or ask. If it's a sell, and you have to buy the currency back, then the current price is the ask. If it's a buy and you need to sell the currency, then the current price is the bid. If there is a take profit, it's listed here, and otherwise it's a zero as seen in these. If there's a stop loss, it's listed here, otherwise it's zero as seen here. The TS column is our trailing stop. Trader Helper trailing stops work a little differently than MetaTrader trailing stops. First of all, you can see them, and you can very quickly identify what they are. Under MetaTrader, you have to right-click on the currency pair and see if you have anything selected, and then see what the trailing stop really is. And while in MetaTrader 4, a trailing stop is a trigger and trail are the same, meaning if you are 10 pips in profit, then the trail is 10 pips away. If you set your trailing stop to be 20 pips, if the trade gets 20 pips into profit, then the trail is 20 pips away. What you see here is a 25/15, and what this means is if we get 25 pips into the money or in profit, then set a 15 pip trailing stop, and this way you don't always have to set break-even stops, and you can actually set stops that are both in the money and out of the money. We think this is a little more flexible and a little more powerful, and we'll show you how to set those as well. In the pips column is the pips up or down you are in the trade. So we have an entry of 95.94 on a sell. It is 96.03, so we're about 9 pips out of the money as seen here, -9 and in red. You cannot see the actual pip profit that you've received in MetaTrader, so we think this gives you an idea of where you are relative to your entry in a lot quicker a way. Profit is the trade profit. It is the profit that you've received on the actual currency trade that does not include commission or swap. Commission or swap are listed separately here, and then your net profit is listed here, which is the sum of your swap, commission, and profit. So as you can see on this trade, we have a very small overnight interest of a penny, but the profit on the trade is $68.15. The net profit is $68.16. And while it's a small amount in sort of these numbers that we see in front of us, for swing traders who may hold positions for days or weeks, the swap can add up and can actually offset losses, or it can create losses when you might be up. And it's very easy to see how those two things play out. So that gives you a very quick overview of what you can see in the Open Positions tab, and now let's talk about what you can do in the Open Positions tab. You can very easily and quickly just select a trade or more than one trade if you'd like. Let's close these two trades and just hit close, and you'll see that they just close on the next tick. This is, again, very, very different than how MetaTrader handles it, where you have to click on a trade, close one trade at a time. That can be a little cumbersome. We also have a close all button, which will just flatten your entire position and get you out of the market no matter what's going on. That way you don't have to close each trade individually. So those are two more advantageous ways of closing either individual orders or all your orders or multiple orders. Now you can also select one. We have a pound dollar position and modify it. our modification looks a little different. We list the orders that you're going to be modifying, and then it describes what the position is. So you know exactly where your entries and exits are. You can select what you want to modify. Here I'd like to modify a take profit and a stop loss and a trailing stop, and we'll go through all of these settings. All of the inputs here in the pip dist are based on the entry price, not based on the current bid and ask. This is different than MetaTrader 4, where if you select 10 points, it'll set the take profit or stop loss 10 points from the current bid and ask. Whether you're in the money or out of the money is immaterial to them. To us, it's very material. The take profit, let's say we want to set a take profit at, 50 pip take profit, but I only want my stop loss to be a 25 pip stop loss. You'll see that we calculate it based on the entry price, and we'll set a trailing stop of, let's say, a 15-15 trailing stop. So we have a 15 pip trigger, meaning that if the trade is 15 pips in the money, the trailing stop will come into effect. The trail will be 15 pips from that trigger, and the initial trailing stop will be a flat trade, will be 0 pips in the money. Now, if we make this instead trailing stop 10 pips, you'll see that the initial trailing stop is at plus 5 pips, so we will lock in 5 pips of profit. So why don't we just hit send, and that'll modify. And you can see that modified all of the all of our settings: our take profit, our stop loss, and our trailing stop. One of the other things you can do in Trader Helper that you can't do in MetaTrader is you can select multiple open positions, and these positions are of the same currency and of the same direction. If you have different currencies or different directions, we can't modify them together, and you'll hit modify. And now you see that you have 2 orders that you're modifying, and we take your net position, which is now 0.2 lots, and the average entry price. So we've averaged the prices here, so we treat it as one position. So we can now say, for this position as a whole, I want to put a 25 pip take profit and a 25 pip stop loss. And on this position as a whole, if my take profit is hit, I will get a $50 profit, and if my stop loss is hit, I will take a $50 loss. Now, we cannot modify trailing stops on multiple orders at the same time because they have different entry prices and it gets a little confusing. So we've disabled that ability here. So again, you just hit send, and on the next tick, and there you can see that it has changed over to a shared take profit and a shared stop loss, just as we had expected. Now, let me show you very quickly one of the other neat features is sort of the coloring. So I'll set up some coloring here. Let's modify this particular order, and I'm going to set a trailing stop to, I'm 74 pips in the money, so it doesn't matter. Let's set it at 50 and a 9 pip trail, just to cause some triggers here on the next tick. And you can see that it came in. So the blue shading here means that the trailing stop has been triggered. And now every additional pip, maximal pip in profit that you are in the trade, the trailing stop will come in. A pink color here means that the trailing stop, or that the stop loss is within 10 pips of the current price. So exactly like MetaTrader does, if you are 10 pips from the stop loss, you will get a green coloring here. Let me just change one last thing. And let me set my take profit. Let's see, we're 73 pips in the money, so let's just set it at 75 pips of take profit. Actually, we get this little red because we have a 3 pip min dist, and we ticked to 73 pips, so we're actually not enough in the money. So we're going to click. Sorry, you've got to go to 75, and this is a net buy, so we'll just raise it up. There we go, and we now are enough in the money, and we'll send that trade, and on the next tick, it will come in. Oh, and we were close, but when the current price is 10 pips from the take profit, this should turn green. We're off by a tick, so it looks like it's going to have some difficulty showing you that. But I think this gives you a very good overview of what's available in Trader Helper versus MetaTrader. You can see your full position and what pips you are in profit, what your net profit is including stop, where your trailing stops are, and you can modify one or more orders, and you can close one or more orders. These are all features that are not available in MetaTrader itself and are only available here. We hope you enjoyed this demonstration and hope, again, that you take the time to view other videos on our website about Trader Helper and our indicators to get a full sense of what we have to offer, and we wish you the best of luck in trading.